Hello everybody, this is Pyra, and today marks the launch of patch 7.05. Of course, with every launch of a patch, we get patch notes, and I thought that we'd breeze through these and just pick out some of the highlights of what has been changed, what has been added, and what has been removed. So the biggest things that we are getting today, or we have already gotten today, first is Arcadian Savage difficulty. So I know the world first race is already deep underway at the time of this recording, and people are already on the fourth fight, which is exciting to see. I am also very excited to get into Savage myself. The next big thing is the return of treasure dungeons, the new treasure dungeon map for Dawntrail, Cenote Jaja Garal. And then the last big one, of course, is we get new tombstones now that the raid series, the raid difficulty has been increased. We have the Algan tombstones of heliometry. So as we scroll down, like I said, we're just gonna go over the high-level highlights here. Playable content is our first section. In areas, when you teleport or return to Solution 9, the arrival coordinates have been adjusted, so maybe people are getting stuck or something of that sort. The next is with leaves. There was a leave in Dawntrail called Shielding My Students, and the name of the client for the Tulio La leave has been changed. It's kind of vague. I haven't done that leave yet, but I'm sure there was some reason that they had to change it. A little different, but I'm sure it was needed if they had changed it. Of course, like we mentioned before, Treasure Hunt. The Cenote Jaja Garal has been added, and like other map dungeons in the past, this consists of a series of chambers sealed behind imposing stone doors. So after clearing each chamber, players must choose a door to proceed, and behind each correct door lies the promise of priceless treasures. These map dungeons will only be available in Brockskin treasure maps, and of course it'll most likely be like our current ones where you have a chance to open the portal to do these dungeons, not always guaranteed. The next section here is housing. We did get some more furnishings added into the game, and it looks like they are coming from Furnishing Design Contest 2019 and 2022. First one's this cute little kind of ottoman situation here with rope and some writing and imagery on the side. Right here is this nice outdoor, I don't want to say gazebo, but kind of like archway, maybe like something to put at your entrance or like around a table or something of that sort. And then, of course, more furnishings here as well. It looks like this room, I don't know everything that's new, but it might be this entire setup right here is of new stuff. So very exciting to see that in game. And this sort of plant, outdoor glowy plant situation for your outdoor furnishings as well. And then little note down the bottom, new orchestrion roles have been added. So next up is battle system adjustments. Of course, we got a lot of job changes and tweaks. I wasn't expecting this many because I know we had a bunch in patch 7.01. However, we did get a lot in 7.05. Now, I'm not going to read these in super detail, but I'm going to give a high-level view of each job so that we can go right through it. The first one is Paladin. So Paladin just got a whole bunch of buffs. Potencies are just a straight up buff, no functional changes. Dark Knight, we did receive some potency buffs, but the biggest change that they have, the more important change, is that the delay between using your gap closer and then the next attack has been reduced. So that delay is reduced, and it will be easier to get back into your normal rotation after using a gap closer. Gunbreaker had a similar change with the reduced time between the delay on the gap closer and the next attack. So for Monk, at the time of this recording, there were buffs, but people in the balance believe that the actions listed are the wrong actions. It says True Strike, Snap Punch, and Twin Snakes got buffs. However, people on the balance are saying it's the regular 1-2-3 combo, which would actually be Phantom Rush, Wind's Reply, and Fire's Reply. This is just based off of third-party information, so I would recommend just maybe trying things out for yourself and seeing if you notice a change, or wait for another update from the Final Fantasy XIV team in case they have to do a revision here. Dragoon got a couple potency increases for Stardiver and Starcross, and with the Gap Closer, just like Dark Knight and Gunbreaker, you also have an action delay reduction. RIP Spine Shatter Dive. But at least we have a little bit of help in this department. Ninja, just some straight potency buffs, nothing fancy. Samurai has a lot of changes. A lot of changes. At first look, it looks like most or a lot of things got nerfed. However, looking at the balance really quick, it looks like some things might be better? So I don't know anything about Samurai. Let me know in the comments below, especially if you're a Samurai main, what you think and how you think the changes affect you. Reapers, simple potency buffs, nothing fancy, to a couple actions. Vipers got a lot as well. A lot. This is one of our new classes to the expansion into the game. Potency changes. It looks like the majority of them are upwards, so a potency buff. Surprisingly enough, I'm honestly surprised they didn't nerf it. And Noxious Gash is now gone. So no more debuff to manage, and the delay time on the Gap Closer was reduced as we were seeing a trend in other jobs. Machinist, just one buff. We got a potency buff on the Full Metal Field, the giant backpack gun attack. Dancer also potency buff, 120 potency buff on Fan Dance 4. Now next up on the list is my main, my baby Black Mage. So Black Mage got a bunch of buffs across the board, which is fantastic. Although Thunder abilities had reduction on potency, damage over time, the dot potency has been increased for High Thunder. However, the potency overall has been reduced as well. Not just some actions, but a Nokian was also buffed. Ice Paradox is back, which I was kind of expecting maybe that. I didn't know that they were going to do that, but I know a lot of Black Mage mains really did not like the removal of Ice Paradox, but it is now back. And another huge change to Black Mage, Umbral Soul now halts the expiration of Umbral Ice, so you don't need to keep pressing it. That'll be a big help in between pulls, especially if you think of like dungeons, fates potentially. That'll be a huge help. It also gives Umbral Ice 3 Umbral Hearts and restores all your MP when used outside of combat. So a lot of good changes here. I haven't been able to play yet today, but I'm excited to see what the changes mean for me in my rotation. Summoner mains got a couple small potency increases, nothing too crazy. Red Mage got some small increases as well, and the only other thing outside of potency increases was the duration for Manification was doubled. So effect duration of magic swordplay has been increased from 15 to 30 seconds. White Mage's Dia potency has been increased in both the potency and the dot potency. And Astrologian, the play buttons do not share a recast time now, so you can use your cards all independently of each other. And then two other following additions and adjustments have been made to job gauges specifically. Viper will now indicate when the effects of Honed Steel and Honed Reavers are active. And for Black Mage, the Elemental gauge will now indicate when the expiration of Umbral Ice is halted by Umbral Soul. Now, that was a lot of job changes, but next up is huge again. It is Arcadian Savage. So Savage has been added for M1 through 4. There's a lot of details in here. I recommend if you are new to how Savage works and how the drops work, go through this in detail. There's just a lot. Pretty much, it's talking about how the rewards are distributed, what the coffers entail, what they have inside of them. Of course, with the new Savages, we're going to have our regular reward eligibility, kind of like loot rules. So a reset every Tuesday at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you go into a party with somebody that's already cleared, that affects your loot drop. So like I said, just take an extra look at this if this is something new for you. Of course, it talks about the required tokens and the loot distribution system. The fights have been added to the raid finder. And then outside of Savage, new elite marks have been added, and Allegan tomestones of heliometry have been added. So this is another Solution 9 area that you can check on your tomestones. You can only get 450 tomestones per week at the moment, and you can only carry a maximum of 2,000 on you at one time. And so with the tombstones, there's just some information regarding what adjustments have been made for roulettes, how much tombstones of heliometry and aesthetics that you can get. Now that aesthetics are the more weaker tombstone at the moment, not the current tombstone. And then with Savage as well, back to Savage, the 4 fights have had their trials added to Stone, Sky, Sea. And now the next big section is items. So new items have been added. Typically we get some craftable gear and some craftable items with the new Savage, as well as with new map dungeons. It shows gear as this first item. I would say that this is craftable gear, but again, I haven't been in game yet, unfortunately, so I can't check that for sure. Items added in patch 7.05 will be listed at a different date, and that also includes the recipes will also be listed at a different date. So new items, new craftable recipes, new master recipes have been added. The sound effect of the crafter action trained perfection has been changed. And another small thing, the item name Integral Magitech Brush Paintbrush has been changed to Chondrite Magitech Paintbrush. The Skyruin Barding Crafter recipe has had a change for whatever reason. So instead of the soft silver ingot, you use the spodumene? Spodumene? I don't know how to say that. But you use that instead. And then new mounts have been added. So it shows this very Heritage Found Solution 9-esque mount. Might be from Savage, might be from Maps. I don't know yet. So we'll just have to wait to see where you can get this in-game. And then the last big section is system updates, or one of the last big sections. New achievements and titles have been added, of course. This next one, I think, is a pretty big one. The restrictions placed for data center travel and world visit systems have been lifted. So there was a travel ban at the launch of Dawntrail to help alleviate congestion, and that has now been lifted, so no longer have any issues there. In the interest of encouraging an even distribution of active players across all worlds, login caps for the data center travel and world visit systems are now tied to world classification. Standard, new, preferred, and congested. I am congested. So there is actually a whole nother section about that. That'll probably be another video, but know that that is something that was added in this patch. And then some small things here with background elements will load faster, text of title menu selections will appear darker, so a couple small kind of UI changes. And then the last two things in system would be new trophies and achievements have been added for PlayStation and Xbox players, and new music and sound effects have been added. Resolved issues, a lot of issues. I don't see anything super crazy. I would just say go. If you're having any issues, go, or had issues, read through this. There's just a lot of little changes. And then node issues. There are 3 node issues. One is with the healer role quest, Taste of a Toxin Paradise. Apparently, if you use Asuna on the NPC, the Lalafell NPC, before the Befuddled Bather, it prevents the subsequent cutscenes from triggering. So they just tell you if this issue encounters, log out, log back in, and use Asuna on the Befuddled Bather before the Lalafell. So that's something that they're working on, but for now, that's kind of a workaround. There's an issue with AAC, Light Heavyweight M1, Normal, and Savage, where under certain conditions, players do not immediately fall when the floor beneath them is destroyed. So they're looking to fix this as fast as possible. However, some people just don't fall right away. So they're trying to make sure you don't exploit it strategically. They're asking that you don't exploit it. However, it is a known issue that is going to be patched. And then there is a minor issue with the Quetzali bracelets of casting. Sometimes look like the ones of healing. So just look at the job descriptions to see, or the item descriptions to see which one you have to make sure it's the correct one. And that is all of the patch notes. We had so many patch notes today. A lot of good things, a lot of changes. Let me know in the comments below if any of your classes were affected by the job changes and what you think about everything so far. As for myself, I'm gonna try to get into some Savage and look at some Savage stuff soon. So thank you so much for watching. If you like more Final Fantasy XIV news, updates, and more, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It means a lot for me and my channel. And I'm streaming live multiple days a week, especially with my own Savage journey with my static this week. So come catch me on YouTube and or Twitch live, and we will see you in game. Bye!